Okay, so I just got my new boat, and it's a Saturn Kaboat 15-foot, and this is their heavy-duty version with the double layer bottom. So I just paired this up with the Evinrude jet drive, and I have my homemade jack plate that's adjustable on there so that I can set the height of the motor. So I'm going to test this out and see how I like it compared to White Boat and Red Boat. Red Boat is a Saturn Kaboat, but not the heavy duty version, but it has a keel, and White Boat is a 10-foot inflatable with a keel, and also doesn't have neither of those have the double layer material on the bottom. So the one thing that made me decide to buy this gray boat is it has a flat bottom, so there's no keel. It does have 4 little skegs on the bottom for tracking, but I want a boat with a completely flat bottom. This is only going to be used in rivers and on riffles and small rapids, so I don't really have any need for a keel. It's not going to be used in larger bodies of water, even though that's kind of where I'm going to test it today. So I think this is going to be the perfect boat for small rivers like the Housatonic or maybe the 10-mile river. It's nice and narrow. It's the narrowest boat that I've had yet, and that will be an advantage. And the length is 15 feet, which is longer than my other 2 smaller boats, but that'll be perfect for carrying a second person as well as camping gear. So let's try it out and see how it does. So I'm testing out my new Kaboat today with the Evinrude jet drive motor, and I came up to the falls here in Roxbury just to check out this this place again, because the last time I was here was probably in 2004 or 2003, and we had actually had a major incident on this river. We were canoeing down here in March when the water was extremely high and also really cold. It was probably, I mean, I'm gonna say like at least 5 feet higher than it is now, because this was an extreme rapid through here, not the little trickle that you see today. But we flipped the canoes about 200 yards upstream from here over a waterfall, and we had 2 canoes, 3 people. I was in one by myself, and Mark and Matt were in one, and we flipped the canoes and we went over each fall. I think there was 3 of them, and we were really held under the falls for what felt like an eternity, but probably in reality was only 30 seconds. And we resurfaced around this area here, and just over there I was able to grab on to the side, and I saw Mark just reach out a paddle to me. I tried to grab on, but I couldn't, and he went over these falls that you see here. These falls are extremely dangerous because they plummet into a huge pothole and just circulate. And Mark and Matt went over these falls. I saw their eyes as they went over the falls as I was holding onto this ledge, and I climbed all the way up this ledge right up to the top and started running along the top, and I saw pieces of the aluminum canoe, just shrapnel that looked like World War II airplane scrap metal, just floating down the river. My camera was gone, all our gear, I saw parts of our gear floating down the river, and I just ran along the top until I finally got down to where I saw Mark just pulling Matt out of the water. Matt was okay, he was just a little banged up, but we were able to reconvene on the bridge, and we literally didn't think that we were alive. Cars were just, all of our clothes were ripped, we were bleeding, cars were just passing us without regard, and finally someone stopped. We literally thought we were just ghosts standing on this bridge, still clutching the paddle. It was just a really eye-opening situation because we didn't do any research on this river. We just had started at pretty far up and early in the morning, and we were just running it because the water level was so high, and this was the result. So it just shows that the most important thing is just extremely detailed planning and doing recons and making sure that everything is safe. Really happy with the Saturn Kaboat. The test went well. I did have to lower the motor a good like half-inch or so, which I didn't really want to do, but it was cavitating quite a bit. So as soon as I got out on the lake and we started hitting some boat wakes, it would cavitate over those kind of rougher patches of water. So I lowered it a 1/4 inch, tried it, it still cavitated. Another 1/4 inch, and it was perfect. And that's kind of the typical procedure with these jet outboards. It seems like the smallest adjustment will make a big difference. So just a 1/4 inch, I just made some marks on my homemade jack plate, 1/4 inch increments, and I would just bring it down a 1/4 inch at a time until it didn't cavitate. So I got that good. It was doing 19 miles an hour with just me and 17 with 2 people in it. So that's good. It definitely planes easy. I do have the trim set all the way in to kind of help it get up on plane as fast as possible. And it does just jump up on plane. It doesn't, the big problem with Red Boat was it wouldn't plane. You had to really distribute the weight forward, and it was just a major pain to get it on plane, and you need to have it plane almost immediately in these rapids. So that was a huge success. The handling was a little weird as we expected, because there's no lower unit on the outboard to kind of act as a rudder, and there's no keel. There's just these 4 little skegs on the bottom, which probably don't do too much and might even get damaged in rapids at some point, but it seemed to be fine. It was just a little different, the steering, than the ones that I already have to have keels. And it's definitely a little different being a flat bottom boat compared to one with a keel, because when you're going over like boat wakes and some chop, it doesn't really cut through it. It will ride on top, and if you hit a big enough wake, it'll actually kind of throw it sideways a little bit. It won't cut through it, which was a little bit of a surprise, but that's fine, because the main goal of this boat is to access small, remote rivers that I need a boat that's lightweight, that I could portage myself. This boat's about 100 pounds or maybe 120 pounds, which is really light. And the motor's about 95, 100 pounds. This is a pretty lightweight package, which is the main goal of this boat, is lightweight. And also it packs down in a pretty small package, so I could throw it in the back of the car easily, as well as the motor, and then inflate it and have the boat ready to go without having to haul it on a trailer. So I'm extremely happy with the Kaboat, and I can't wait to take it up on some rapids. Unfortunately, right now we're in a drought, and I don't think there's enough water in the Housatonic. The other update is that Orange Boat, the Solar, has had a cut to one of its tubes, so it got cut on a sharp shell. So I'm waiting for some materials to come for that so I can repair it. And which was disappointing, because I had some really good trips planned for it, and I actually finally received the motor for Orange Boat. It's this Yamaha 4030 jet drive in like new condition. It's actually still under warranty. I found it in California. It was used by National Geographic in some capacity, I'm not sure what, but this is the perfect motor for Orange Boat. It has the long tiller, it has electric trim, So I'm really sad that orange boat is down, especially now that I have the motor. I really wanted to do a trip, several different trips, one being the Delaware River. The Delaware is just fascinating for me because I'm in search of the oldest mines in America, what I call the Lost Mines Project. And right now, one of the oldest mines was somewhere along the Delaware River. So I wanted to go up the Delaware from Trenton, New Jersey, what was then called Kildorpy, and the Delaware was called the Charles River. And so I really wanted to go up the Charles River from the impassable falls at Kildorpy and really experience the way that this region was explored. And the end destination would be in New Jersey, the Paha Quarry mine. So I would try to go from Trenton to Paha Quarry, and from there, take the boat out of the water and hike along the mountain range that goes from Paha Quarry all the way to Kingston in search of LiDAR anomalies. So it would be a boat expedition to seek out the potential mines that were along the Delaware River that are marked on some 1600s maps, and then trace the legends of the mines that were somewhere north of Paha Quarry. And these legends also date back to the 1600s. So a trip like this would require a jet boat like Orange Boat, and I'll have to wait for it to get repaired to do this trip. So even though I'm using the Evinrude with the new Kaboat, I do have a Suzuki 20 horsepower that I've ordered a jet kit for, but of course, like anything that's jet related, that won't be coming for a really long time. I ordered that back in the early spring, and I think it's coming sometime in December, and that'll probably even get delayed. So next year I'll have the Suzuki 4-stroke 20 horsepower with the jet kit on the Kaboat. That would be my perfect small river boat.